What's going on, everybody? This is Damien from Chess Optics. What I want to show you today is a very interesting chess concept that people tend not to pay attention to in a tactical situation. And that concept is called removing the defender. So if you can see this position on the screen, you'll notice that the black king is on the back rank with 2 rooks and a bishop, but the back rank is a little bit weak. There's a fork available to white if he were to take this knight and place it on f7. But of course we know that the rook would then capture the knight. And if this rook on e1 were to try and come down and call check, well, that would just be blocked and the rook would capture and the bishop captures the rook. And we've just put ourselves down materially. But let me put this back and illustrate for you a way that this can be done. Excuse me. So, what we have here is a case of removing the defender. If you remember, when I was showing you this variation, what we had at the very end of it was this piece, the bishop, on d6. This key piece was the last piece to capture. So logically, if you think about this situation, if we could somehow remove this piece, then what would happen is when this knight comes and checks the king and forks the queen and the king together on f7, and the rook takes back and we slide down, there would be nobody to capture the rook back on f8, and it would be mate, which gives key information that we can use. And if you watch any of my other chess optics videos, you remember me saying that chess is not about someone being better or worse, it's about key information. So the person who has the key information and knows that this bishop needs to be removed will make what is called a brilliant sacrifice by annotators. And that would look like this. The queen on d1 captures the bishop on d6. Now you may ask yourself, wow, that's a whole queen. Why would I give my queen up for a bishop? That's 9 points. Relative value to a bishop, which is only 3. But this is a key piece of information that you all must understand. In chess, all numbers are relative to the position at hand. And this is a key indication of that point. When the queen takes the bishop, of course, the bishop is worth less than the queen. However, in this situation, when the pawn captures the queen back, we now go with our tactic. Knight to f7 check. We will either get our queen back and be able to have a better position, or, well, actually, we'll get our queen back with check if he decides not to take the knight. Because if the king decides, you know what, I'm going to move here, well, then we just take the queen and then we have check against the king and we get our piece back. But in this particular situation, the rook takes the knight. The rook comes down, check. The rook goes back to block, and we have checkmate. And in this situation, we see the reason why the queen took the bishop that was on d6. It wasn't to be flashy and just sacrifice. It was a key illustration of removing the defender. If you want to put that position through the engine and see some points that I may have left off, or left out, you're free to do so. But white is winning from that position. And again, this is Chess Optics showing you how to get your chess better. Goodbye.